Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion. This is the Crazy Show Nation of YouTube. We're jumping right in. This is a collab, as you can tell from the title, with my homegirl GelBeauty87, aka Grace. We are ranking our Nomad palettes. I had 11, I have 10, she has 9, which is great. And so some we have are going to be the same, and some we have are not going to be the same as far as the palettes themselves. I'm interested to see what her ranking is because I prefer warm tones. She prefers cool tones. She says she loves monochromatic looks, and I'm like, I would have never thought that. And even though I do monochromatic looks, it's not my preference either. And so I'm just curious to see what her ranking is. Okay, so the 11th one at the bottom, I don't have it anymore. It's the Cartagena Magica palette. It just, the tones just were not my preference. I did do additional looks with that palette, and so you'll see them over time. I think the shorts are actually going up before this video goes up, but there are actual tutorials, and the looks were okay. It just wasn't for me, so just understand that. So if you love that palette, I love it for you. My preference is just something different. So that's the bottom one. This ranking was hard. Like my top two off the bat, boom. Third one, boom. The bottom 2, 3, okay. The ones in the middle, I was just like, and I didn't think about it too hard. You know, I laid them out, opened them up, and I'm looking at them. And I even went back and looked at some of my looks and my tutorials to just refresh how the looks looked and to hear what my thought process was as I was doing the looks, excuse me, as to what I thought about it. And so I did have to dig back for some of these to see, because I didn't just want to rank them based on color story. I wanted to rank them on, yes, color story, but also how I felt about the looks that I did, how the shades showed up on me, and just what my overall thoughts were about each individual palette. And so that's how I'm ranking them, not just based on color story. So some of these you will guess, and others you'll be like, So yeah, I was too. So number 10, Fête de Provence, and I did receive this in PR. Some of the looks, I was like, I believe it was looks 4 and 5 that I really actually liked. And then I did like a deeper look with these tones here that I liked. But overall, these 4 shades made me look ashy, dusty. These 2 look the same on my complexion. And so it limited how I felt about the looks that I was able to create as far as really liking the looks. And so that's why this is number 10. So that's going over there. This one was also sent in PR, and I feel bad because I wanted PR to be like my tops, and it's not. But this is my preference, my aesthetic, my opinion. So number 9 is the Mount Verde Club Forest palette. And I did just say this was sent in PR. These 2 shades look the same on me. This shade and this shade were almost identical on me, which limits my versatility with this palette to have 4 shades that show up on me almost the same. The shimmers in here I really liked. I liked them better when I layered them over a matte. Even though they did show up on me, I just wanted more. And again, I prefer darker tones. And there's not a lot of that in here. And even this being, you know, a mid-tone brown, it was really light on me. So it just wasn't my preference for looks for me. Yeah, and I do have a playlist for each of these palettes, and I have an overall Nomad playlist if you want to go back and see the looks that I've done. Number 8, Orient Express. I thought this was going to rank higher because, excuse me, internal belch there, troll. I had Venice Simplin Express, which had 9 of these 18 shades in it, and I really liked the looks I did with that palette. But now that I have double the shades, I don't want to say I regret purchasing this one, But part of me wishes I just would have kept Venice Simple and Express, because those 9 shades, they were hits. Granted, I have not used every shade in this palette. I have not used the shimmer blue. I have not used, what did I not use? Did I use the shimmer blue? I don't know. What disappointed me, you see this shine? The first time I used it, I swiped the brush in it and it developed hard pan before I even put the brush to my lid. So that was very disappointing. This shade is ashy on me. This shade is kind of ashy on me. This is a dual chrome, I believe. This is a nice, you know, inner corner highlight or, you know, whatevs. But I prefer to enjoy an entire palette. And this light, that ashy, this was kind of ashy. This is just, it's a non-color on me. It just adds a little shimmer, like on my bare skin. And so even though the looks were, this is why this ranked number 8, because I'm not loving every shade in here. And for this to have hard pan, as soon as I put my brush in it, before I even touch it to my lid, I don't know what's up with that. And the purpose of trying to use all the shades was recreating the looks I did with Venice Simple and Express, and adding in some of the tones in here that were not in that palette. And I think I like the condensed version better, because those lighter tones just wasn't my thing. This one, number 7, this was also sent in PR. Y'all might be surprised, but then you've seen the looks I did and heard my thoughts, or you may have, and so it may not be a surprise. Hudson Valley. The first 2 looks I did like, and I did the looks according to how they did the quad groupings on their Instagram. So it was like 4 of these shades and 4 of these shades, and so that was the first look, one on one eye, one on the other, and the looks were nice. As a whole, I prefer these 9 shades. And so we're back to, am I enjoying the entire palette? And the answer is no. These are light on me. And maybe just because they're cooler tones, I don't know. But this just doesn't do it for me. I do like that this is here, and this is darker than Two-Toed Sloth in the other palette. And so these 9 right here and this one, yes. These are just taking it away for me. I really do like the shimmers in here on their own and layered on their own. On my lid, they showed up nicely, but it's not my aesthetic, and so I would layer them, which is not a problem because they look beautiful layered. And so that's why this ranked where that did. This one, Iceland Fire Ice, I purchased it because I received Gallows Lava and Ipsy, and I'm like, oh, what palette is this in? And so I ended up purchasing Iceland Fire Ice because that's where Gallows Lava is. And I did 2 more looks today to use shades I hadn't used before to see how they looked on my lid. This is Gallows Lava on the lid, and this shade is on my outer corner. That is it. And Gallows Lava underneath, and on this eye, first half of the lid, second half of the lid, and this is underneath. That's it. So really simple, really easy. I do like this look. Not my preference, because I like deeper tones like this one, but this is bomb. This ranked where it did, and I was tossed between this one and the next one I'm going to show you, and I think it's going to surprise you because it surprised me because of the tones in it, because I like these deeper tones, these right here. But for me, this palette, if you can take away, I'm trying to get off the glare, if you can take away these, that almost looks like one of the other ones when I hid some shades, right? So if it was just these, yes, this is nice. Oh, this is inner corner, this shade right here. So these 9, and keep this one here, maybe keep this blue, but these 2, 3, 4 just don't really do it for me. And it's important, again, for me to like all the shades in a palette, because when I don't, I feel like I'm just wasting space, and it's like, why is it there? So that's why this ranked where it did. I want to say more. I'm not. Number 5, America's Parks. So me liking dark, grungy, smoky, deep shades. Look at this one. This is the number 5. This ranked higher than Iceland, even though it had, you know, those grungy, darker tones, grungier, darky tones. The reason this is number 5, yes, I keep glancing at my notes, is because this palette surprised me. I like every look that I did with this palette. And it surprised me because I'm thinking, okay, golds, you know, neutral tones, but when I put them on, it just worked. It worked. Yeah, I'm really feeling this palette, so that's why that's number 5. Number 4, Marrakesh. This palette surprised me because when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, a couple yellows, a couple blue chills, whatever. But this is all like monochromatic. No, it's not. I think I have in my playlist for this palette 9 different looks that I did, and all of them look different. This palette is so versatile. It blew my fucking mind. And I was like, whoa. So that's why this is number 4. And yes, it's a warm neutral lover's dream. Except these are cool tones. But like these right here, I didn't think I was going to get many looks out of this. I'm like, oh, they're all going to look the same because of all of these right here. No, boo-boo. Every look is distinctly different. This surprised the hell out of me. The same as America's Parks. But this is more monochromatic than America's Parks. And so I was just like, what? So I'm glad I purchased that. Number 3 was sent to me in PR. This was my first PR from Nomad, Whistler Snow Lodge. And yo, I'll say it again, yo. I got my little deep tones over here. Got a little pop of gold. This is nice inner corner highlight. I think I use this for inner corner highlight. And this is a duochrome, this one. I got my little, you know, tones over here. I mean, this whole palette, it surprised me too. Because I was concerned about like this blue, this one here. Which I think that's a duochrome. Is it? Yeah, because it's kind of pinky and then it's blue, this one right here. So this one I wasn't sure about. This one I wasn't, because I'm like, I might look dusty. This one I wasn't sure about. All of these shades work for me. And I love all the looks I did with this palette, to my recollection. Yeah. But this is number 3. If you've been here more than a few months, you probably guessed before I started what my top 2 are, and I've said it in quite a few videos what my top 2 are, so it will not be surprised. And I really had to think about which one is number 2 and which one is number 1. But I knew it was going to be these 2, and I knew Whistler was going to be number 3, and I knew Cartagena, Verde, Provence, and Monteverde Cloud Forest were going to be at the bottom. So it was just those in-betweens. Haunted Europe. I love this palette. I love the packaging. The shades in here, I love it. A few of these shades do crease on me. And I don't know why I said shades like that. I don't know. This creases on me, this one, and there's another one that creases on me. Might be this one. The formula in here, last I used this was crumbly. Like when I would wipe the brush in it, it would get crumbly. And so I'm thinking this is done. And I do have a label on the back that says that it expires, November this year. But I'm thinking the formula is starting to turn. And each of their palettes has a different oil in it. And so I'm thinking maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. But I did notice a difference in the performance of this palette, particularly this shade right here, because it started to crumble. And it creased more than it did before. And this one creased more than it did before. I do really like the looks I did with this palette. This row throws me off. I like that there's a dark green in here, but if you, I don't know how to, if you take this away, you have your golds over here, and then you have these shades over here, which seem like they would all go together. And so the green throws me off, even though it does add to the palette, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, it gives you more versatility. It goes with the greens, you know, whatever you want to do with that. But so that's why this is number 2 instead of number 1, is because this to me takes away my aesthetic, which is kind of smoky, kind of grungy. And then this green right here, and this one, I'm like, that's just like throwing off my grungy, smoky vibe thing. So that's why this is number 2, but I really do enjoy this palette. And even the warm toned, I mean the cool tone shades in here, like this one and this one, like they do work for me, and even this one. So even though it's not a warm toned lover's dream, it did work for me. I did purchase a backup like I told you I would when they were on sale for 25% off. And I'm glad I did, because when I knocked out looks, just to give you guys some more inspiration or to think about, are you going to buy it when it's on sale or not? When I pumped out those additional looks, that's when I noticed that the formula had already started to turn. And so I am glad that I did revisit this when I did. I was going to purchase a backup anyway, to be honest with you. But I'm glad I did that. Number 1. What's the only one left? Berlin Underground. This baby right here. This is almost Haunted Europe without that strip of green. Every shade in here works for me. I love every look that I did with this palette. There is nothing I would change about this palette, except 1 or 2 of the shades did crease on me. Which isn't an issue because my lids are so puffy. Like, even when it creases in the crease, you can't see the crease. Even if I go like this, you can't see in the crease. I would have to go like this or like this to see in the crease. And so even when it creases, I mean, I know it's there because I'm like in the mirror looking like, what's going on? But nobody else would notice that. These 2, Haunted Europe and Berlin Underground, I purchased at the same time, because when I seen them, I'm like, grungy goodness, they are mine. These were the first 2 that I purchased, and that's what started my love affair with Nomad. And just to hold these up together, my finger went into that red shade. Look at these 2 together. And so you kind of see what I'm saying. If you take out that green column, you can say, I mean, no, they're not the same at all. But as far as you know, want to be grungy, want to be dirty, you know, even want to be vampy, because you have this shade right here, and then you got the reds up top and that purple up top and the grays. Oh my gosh, that's where I live. So if you have any doubt what my aesthetic is, this without the green row, this whole thing, this is my aesthetic. And even deeper than these tones, darker than these tones, that's my preference. And so when I do stuff like this, and I'm like, yes, it's nice, but it's not my thing, I'm hoping this helps you understand what my thing is. And it's this even deeper and darker than it is. But this right here, this is my number 1 all-time favorite Nomad palette. And so just to recap, so we're going to go in reverse. Number 1, Berlin Underground. I want to say I hope this comes back, or something like it. Maybe a little darker, maybe a little grungier, a little bit deeper. I really am. I'm going to message Felicia. I am. I'm going to be like, y'all want to do something like this next year? I mean, give me a heads up so I can save to buy like 2 of them. Berlin Underground, number 1. Haunted Europe, number 2. Number 3, Whistler. Number 4, Marrakesh. Number 5, America's Parks. Number 6, Iceland Fire and Ice. Number 7, Hudson Valley. Number 8, Orient Express. Number 9, Verde. No, not the Verde, Cloud Forest. Number 10, Fête de Provence. And number 11, Cartagena, Mexico, which I do not have anymore because I already decluttered it because it just was not me. And now you understand seeing what is me, which is Berlin Underground. So out of these, Whistler Snow Lodge was PR, Hudson Valley was PR, Monteverde Club Forest was PR, and Fête de Provence was PR. All the other 7 I purchased. And I had purchased quite a few before Nomad even started sending me PR, because I was already in love with the brand anyway, just off of Berlin Underground and Haunted Europe. So that is it. Let me know what your thoughts are on my ranking. And thank you, Grace, for doing this collab with me. And if y'all don't know who she is, please do check her out. Yo, she's freaking hilarious. If you want to stay up on new releases, she's your girl. If you want honest, unadulterated opinions, that's your girl. If you like dupe videos, this high-end palette is such and such, she'll show you a less expensive dupe. That's your girl. And she be showing stuff and I'll be like, whoa, like that dude look just like that. Like, wow. And she does battles. She'll put up a high end against a low end, or two different palettes that are the same color story against each other. Which one is better? And she does a main chick, side chick. You know, is the more expensive one always better? No, it's not. She's your girl. Like, she does all that stuff. But definitely for new release stuff, which I don't do at all because I'm so slow buying stuff, because I want to see reviews and I'll be waiting for sales too. But yeah, she does luxury, she does high-end, she does prestige, she does drugstore, she does affordable. She runs the gamut. So if you want to see anything that's new coming out, hot and popping, that's your girl. And because she does the battles and the main chicks, side chicks, and the dupes, you're still going to see other stuff other than the brand new stuff. Okay, so if you want older stuff, come here. If you want the new and possible dupes for the new, then then you go over there. So between the two of us, we got you covered. And so thank you for being here. Her video link will be down below. And if you're here from her channel, hang tight. Something will pop up for you to watch. My Nomad playlist will be one of the things that'll pop up for you to watch if you want to browse to do that. And I do have a playlist, as I said, for each individual palette. Or just run the whole Nomad playlist and see them all. Just take all day, be a bum. Don't Netflix and chill. The Crazy Troll Nation and chill. You see what I'm saying? And if you're here first, go check her out. Okay? And so thank you for being here. I'm glad this is over because this was hard. That middle section, like 4 through 8. But yeah, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here, and you will see me soon. Why am I talking real fast? Like when you see an infomercial about something, they're trying to sell your product, and you're like, this will be great, but this is all the side effects of it. And it's like, what the fuck? That's how I felt like, because that's how they sound, because they start talking real fast and you can't understand anything that they're saying. But it'd be the most important stuff. So that's just weird. Yeah, so I'm really gonna go.